Alright, hey everyone. So this is going to be question 7, YY diagram. And so since this is like an environment diagram question, there's not really much to explain, so I'm going to go into this directly. And so one thing to note is that I'm going to use tutor.csexplainate.org and make sure to type this URL instead of just like Python tutor, because we have some preset settings, and not having those preset settings could result in like different environment diagrams. And so let's paste this all in and let's start running this. And as you know, like there's like a y of y of y, which can be super confusing, but like let's try to get through this. And so yeah, let me zoom this in a little bit. And so we start off with like some kind of like basic stuff. So we're assigning y to the string y and h to be equal to y. And one thing to note about this is that since strings are primitive objects, so they're not actually objects, we're not going to have pointers and all of that. So when we say h is equal to y, we're storing separate copies of this string y. And so moving on to def y, we're going to create a function object. And one thing to note is that it's going to override this y variable. And so when we do a def statement, it's going to create this function object, and it's going to be basically saying create this function and assign whatever the function name is, assign that variable to be this new function. So that's why it overrode the y right here. And then next we're going to hit the line y equals y of y of y. And so let's parse this one at a time. So first we're dealing with we kind of want to do it left to right. So we're doing this part right here. So the y of y right here. And so going into the next block, we're gonna go f1 is y, parent equals global, and notice that y is this function right here. And we're also passing in the parameter y. So y gets bound to the value, this object right here, which is the function y. And in here, we're gonna say h equals the string h, and we're gonna go if y is equal to h, and we see that y is a function, h is a string, so they're definitely not equal. And so we're gonna go past that, and we're gonna say y equals to lambda y and y of h. So what happens here is that we're gonna create a new lambda object with parameter y, and y of h is TBD, and we're gonna assign that to the variable y, so the pointer is gonna get overwritten right here, as you can see. And then in the return statement, we're gonna go lambda h y of h. So we're gonna create another lambda function with parameter h on line 8, with parent is f1, because that's where we define all our functions in. And so that's gonna be our return value. And well, we're gonna remember that we're in the part of the code where we just finished calling y of y right here. And so that means that after we did that, we're gonna call it the return value on another parameter y. And so what's gonna happen here is the return value is gonna be this lambda function, and we're calling it on the parameter y. And remember that y is still this function object right here. And I just got rid of that, so let me refresh. So it's still gonna be this function y. So the function that we're calling is this lambda h function on line 8, and the parameter that we're passing in is gonna be this function y of y. And so that's why we open up a new frame, and h gets bounded to the function y because that's the parameter that we passed in. And so what's going to happen is lambda h is going to call y of h. And well, inside the lambda function, we notice that we have to look up what each variable is, starting with y maybe. And so we don't know what y is because it's not defined in this frame. So let's go up a little bit. And so we see that y in its parent frame is equal to this lambda function y right here on line 7. And so we got that down, and let's figure out what h is now, because h is on this line, and we know what h is. It's going to be the function y of y. And so we're going to open up a new frame, and that's going to be the lambda function on line 7, and the parameter that we're passing in is going to be the h right here, which is this function y of y. And then what we're going to do here is it's going to call y of h. Well, y is going to be the function y of y, and h, well, we don't know what h is, so let's take a look at its parent. If we go to f1, its parent, the value of h is going to be the string h. So we're basically calling the function y of y on the value h. And then so we're gonna go through like this block right here again. So this entire statement with y is equal to the string h. And so we're gonna open up the new environment, right? And y is gonna be h, and h is gonna be the string h. We ran through that line. And now we're gonna check, is y equal to h? Well, they're both strings of the value h, so that's gonna be true. And so we're gonna return y plus I. And y plus I is going to be high, because we're like concatenating two strings together. And so the return value is going to be high. And remember that, this lambda, we call this lambda, and it's returning h. And then that y function call was this function, and this function right here was calling this function. So the return value of this y function is going to be the value high. But remembering where we are, we have to like return the value that we got from y in this lambda, and we have to return the result of that lambda in the f2 lambda, this f2 frame. So that's why we go back here, return value is high, and return value is high right here. And then after all of that, that was the result of calling all of this. And so what's going to happen is we're going to bind that high value back to what y is, because this all evaluated to like the word high, and so we're going to assign y equals to high, and so we're going to overwrite that right here. And so yeah, that's going to be the end result of this environment diagram, and make sure to let me know if you have any questions about this. My email is patwayne123@berkeley.edu. And yeah, also feel free to ask me like any questions about any of the discussion things, or any like midterm questions or conceptual questions. And yeah, have a great day.